the Nintendo Switch, the absolute best-selling Nintendo console of all time, nay, best-selling console in general. I love the Nintendo Switch. It is in my top 10 video game consoles of all time simply because of how unique it is compared to its predecessors and the competition around it. The Nintendo Switch is the first truly hybrid console, being able to play games in handheld mode with zero quality loss. Unlike playing something like on the PSP or on the 3DS, for example, where the games would be a little bit lesser in quality, this thing runs it exactly the same as it would on a dedicated home console with zero loss. And of course, you can plug it into your docking station and play it on the TV just like you would if it were any of these normal ones around here. So this here is my OLED Switch. I did own one of the original 2017 models. However, it ended up shitting the bed eventually due to a hardware malfunction in the battery. I don't know exactly what happened to it, but I'm guessing it was a wish.com SSD that I had, which kind of made it shit its memory. I don't know if that was the case, but that's what I'm blaming it on because it's funny. I did eventually get that Switch replaced, and when the OLED model came out, I traded it in, and this has been the one I've been using ever since. But speaking of console launches, you might be wondering why this video, based on its release date, is a little bit later than the Switch's launch. That's because of these two bastards, EB Games and Ozpost. So I pre-ordered my system the day that they went live here in Australia. I paid my $50 deposit, there was a queue on the website, pretty standard stuff. It was a little bit weird that I wasn't able to pay the thing in full. I did have the money for it at the time, but it just wouldn't let me, so whatever, I didn't question it. Found out that you can pay it off only through click and collect, but I didn't do that because I wanted to have it, the day of. That was the intention of pre-ordering, is that they'd ship it out on the 4th, it would get here on the 5th or the 6th. Pretty standard, right? You'd expect that to happen. But no, it did not happen like that. I got a message on the 5th saying that it would be here between the 6th and the 11th. Today is the 11th. One of my friends, they did pre-order through a different retailer. They pre-ordered through JB Hi-Fi, which is, I'm guessing, like the Australian version of Best Buy, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, do not quote me on that. But they were able to pay their money up front, and theirs arrived on the literal day that the system released. I had to wait 5 full days and avoid spoilers for Mario Kart World and everything else to get to this point. Which brings me to this. My Nintendo Switch 2. Now, I have managed to avoid every single spoiler under the sun about this, so this will be a completely fresh unboxing experience for me. There's a weird camera angle, but I'm going to try my best to make sure that you can see everything. And there it is. The system itself. So I'm going to gently lift it up. We'll take it out of its wrapper together. Ooh. Oh, it feels so nice. This is actually a really nice quality system. It's got a little bit of a thunk to it. Nothing too bad. I'll put this down on the cloth. So these are the new Joy-Cons. So these are meant to be bigger than the Switch 1 Joy-Cons, which I will do a size comparison in a little bit. Let me just feel. Ooh, that is substantial. That is a bit of a substantial difference, yeah. Not too bad. Also get to try the new mechanism. Oh, and that really grips on. Ooh. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a pretty cool mechanism. Like, it holds on really tight. It doesn't feel like it's got any give. It feels good. Yeah, I like that. And of course we got the other Joy-Con. You don't have to see every single one of them. So here's the red Joy-Con. It doesn't look like they brought back the IR scanner. Oh, okay. No wonder why Labo isn't available on the scene. It doesn't have the IR scanner. Interesting. Let's just click that into place. Ooh. So for the size comparison, I've got my original OLED here. We can sort of see how big this thing is. So they've definitely like fattened it up a little bit, but they've kept the like thickness of it the exact same. So it's got a similar size profile. It's pretty neat. Of course, we got the new kickstand as well. So this one is more of like a bar than like a little flap or a little stick, which I prefer, honestly. Makes it feel a little bit more sturdy. We can see that it has a second USB-C port up the top, along with the headphone jack. And there is, of course, one at the bottom. Game cards look like they're going to fit well as well. So I'll just leave this to the side for a little bit. Let's go deeper into the box, see what else we can find. Of course, there is some legal information, but you need to see that. Oh, there is one thing I should have shown. So these are the new Joy-Con straps. So unlike the other ones which click in with the rail system, this one will just attach magnetically, it looks like. Ooh. So this is meant to make it easier to use the mouse mode, which I'm happy to try out later. All it really comes with is just like important information, just legal jargon. We don't need to look at that. Ooh, here is the new Joy-Con grip. Has a little 2 plastic blocks on either side to help you align it with the controller, and it also doesn't have like a side bump anymore because it's meant to be completely flat. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's pretty similar to the first Joy-Con system. It's bigger though. USB-C cables. Yeah, it's just a cable, nothing special. Oh, okay, so it's not attached to the same brick. Interesting. So at a glance, this is basically just like a 60-watt power supply. So really, you can use like anything and it will still charge the system. And it's USB-C to C as well, so really, really fast charging across the board. And finally, the new dock, which I'm going to unbox on camera for this one. It looks like a toaster. It actually kind of does look like a toaster, yeah. So it's heavier than the previous dock, and that's because it has an internal fan now. In this little compartment here is where the fan rests. So when your system gets a little bit warm, it should ramp up the fan in here and keep your system from damaging itself, which is pretty cool. It also has, of course, an HDMI port, the AC adapter, and a LAN port, which is always appreciated. I don't use LAN for my Switch, but I definitely appreciate the gesture. And that does it for the box. Now, there was one more thing that I was going to show off while I was here, and that is the new Switch 2 cases. So this here is a Switch 1 case for comparison. It's just Mario Kart 8. I figured it was appropriate for the game that I got. But yeah, nothing special. The cartridge itself is, tiny, as we already know. But yeah, red on the side, we get a little logo in the corner. The Switch 2 boxes follow a similar format, but it does it differently. So instead of a little thing at the top, we get it at the we get our big one at the top now, and the case is fully red. So they've definitely embraced the tradition of Sony's Blu-rays being blue, Xbox's cases being green, and this one is now just fully red. On the inside, you can see that it is actually translucent plastic, so it's not like fully opaque, which is nice. You can kind of see some of that inside art. You wouldn't actually turn this inside out and use it like that. And we also get a good look at the new cartridges being completely red as well. Let me see if I can get that in focus. So fully red cartridge. It has a little bit of a different shaped block. Not sure what that's about, but just a tiny little difference. Not exactly sure why, but it's there. So, that about does it for my unboxing video. I'd like to give a huge shout out to my mate $1 Million Bill, also known as William. He was incredibly, helpful with getting me through the frustration of the 5 days where I couldn't play this damn thing. He's one of my best friends of all time. I love him to death. So thank you so much for keeping me going through that little annoying spot, man. I appreciate it so much. And I'd like to thank all of you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Have a good one, lads.